Thank you so much for being here. How are we doing? How are we feeling? Welcome to the Repair Circle. My name is Dahlia Quintanilla. My pronouns are she, her, and I am honored to be guiding us today through this experience where we're going to tap in around healing punishment patterns. What a topic! It's beautiful work that you are being drawn to, allowing yourself to feel into a new way of doing things. This is towards ourselves and towards others. Let's start with the grounding, a check-in. How are you arriving today? Noticing where you feel contact right now and noticing what sensations feel alive and present for you. So just taking a moment, and maybe if you want to lower your gaze or close your eyes to really tap into that inner world and feel your breath. It's a perfect moment for that. Or maybe you want your eyes to fixate on something beautiful in your space. Just allowing the body to let you know how are you arriving in the space? How are we arriving? What's present? What's here? Mm. For me, I'm arriving excited. I feel the excitement in my chest. She wants to move and dance around, but she's in teacher mode. I'm also feeling grateful for this community and this space to move through this work today together in this precious moment in time. So awesome to have caught each other, right? So you get a sense of our flow today. We are going to move through ourselves a learning spiral, okay? We're going to start with some inquiry. We're going to let ourselves just get curious, think, question, reflect, right? Then we're going to explore into our topic. We're going to deepen what's here. We're going to practice. We're going to actually feel the shifts from punishment to repair. And then we're going to reflect with each other in community and share, how did that feel? What's going on? Let's check in. Let's begin, my friends. So when you're ready, let's tap into the inquiry, okay? What beliefs do I carry about punishment? This inquiry process can happen however you would like it to. If you are more of a visual person, a writer, maybe you are jotting things down. If you're more of a visual person, maybe you just close your eyes and feel into it. You can feel where in your body is lighting up, what information is coming online. You could draw, you could doodle, you could be off camera doing an interpretive dance of what beliefs punishment feels like in your body. It's open, okay? Feel into these responses and notice what comes up. What beliefs do I carry about punishment? Beautiful. We're gonna go a little quick beat through these, okay? So it's more like a tap in and an invitation to reflect later if it still feels relevant for you, because these are huge. These are huge. This next question now, switching it over, what beliefs do I carry about repair? Hmm. Feel into this. Maybe it's a little bit of a different texture, right? What are we believing about repair? Mm. This one, the questioning around repair is something that we might be coming back to for a lot of our lives, right? Because it might be still a new way of moving through the world. So I'm just offering that as these are starting points. reference points, points to come back to. Now, as we're in this space of inquiry, I invite you to take in this image with compassion, with awareness, and with a non-judgmental, non-blaming mindset. It's to practice, to view all the toxins we are swimming in, to view all the different influences that have impacted our beliefs, have impacted the ways that we were raised, have impacted our ability to believe in ourselves, right? This is a moment I'm offering to you as an invitation to release a little more of the blame that we have for the beliefs that might be present. The water we're swimming in, we know, I'm sure the people that are here know, right? The toxins. And let's bring this into our next inquiry here, but what beliefs do we carry about children? Going to highlight one of the parts of the toxic waters, which is adultism. The assumption that adults are inherently superior to young people. Yeah, let's feel into this. What beliefs are we carrying about children? And this also is something we'll come back to throughout our lives and is beneficial for everyone, regardless if you have children or work with children or not, because these beliefs impact the way we parent our own inner children. And that can also be a source of pain if we're not examining the beliefs and making sure we're not coming from those toxic waters. Children are competent leaders and we should learn along with them. Yes. They're so empowered, right? Like they're powerful. They come in, they know what they want, they know how they want to play, they know what imaginary friends are around. Like they know. They know. And it's so sad and devastatingly enraging that we, as a society and as structures and systems, take that light, that natural, authentic expression, and right, we diminish that light. We sort of burn out the little sparks that are there naturally with shame, with guilt, right? So I think I'm preaching to the choir here, but I just need to name children are complete in each moment. They already know they are worthy of dignity and respect. And children are learning their world through relationship. They are understanding all the massive amounts of data and information their brilliant little systems are taking in. All of that is through relationship. How does mommy speak to daddy? How does daddy respond to mommy when they talk about money? How does my teacher talk to that student? Why did that student, right? All these things, this is how our brains begin to make the patterning, the templates that we have. It's a very, very special time when we're children. And they deserve us to show up understanding their developmental reality, right? Not us adding on to them that they should be like adults already. And if they're not like adults, there's something wrong with them. So children are not empty vessels to fill. No, 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 no. And school might have really embedded this one in that we need all this colonized education to somehow be an okay functioning adult in the world. We're not empty when we get here. We are full of light and life. Children are not problems to solve. Nope. Nope, they're not a problem. They're not the problem. They just got here. They're learning about their world. And they're also not adults in training. This is something from the education space we see so much, especially when a kid passes the threshold of puberty and when you're talking about like middle school, high school children, it's really sad that we don't also recognize that they are still in highly important developmental stages, right? Our brain is still developing until we're 25 to 27. So the prefrontal cortex, this part behind your beautiful forehead, is in control of your impulses, how you plan for long term, short term, and emotional regulation. That part isn't fully developed until you're 25 or 27. How fascinating now with this kind of neuroscience research that we know, and then we see our society designed to give adults what they're at 18. At 18. That ain't right. We don't have impulse control yet. How are we to know? How are we to know? I was in no position to decide to take out that much money. I didn't know what I was doing for college. I was like, what? We're doing that? Okay. What does that mean? I don't know. Sign the paper. Looks like everyone else is doing it. Should be fun. Like, what? Right. So that. Also, children are not misbehaving. This is a hard one to sometimes fully let land. They're showing us where their brain, and this is again developmentally, where their brain needs co-regulation and support. When we see a child as misbehaving and let that emotion of, oh, how could you do that? There's a punitive response. Taking offense to a child's natural way of expressing, labeling it as misbehaving, giving us reason to add the punishment. Gavia says, kids aren't giving us a hard time. They're having a hard time. I want to tattoo that. I need to write it down. I'm sorry. Yes, I've never heard that, but that's exactly it. They're not giving us a hard time. They're having a hard time. Thank you so much for adding that. That's exactly it. They need co-regulation before that ability to self-regulate is even possible. It's practice for them and for us, for everyone, it's practice, right? A little more on the development. When we put kids through toxic stress, and anyone, us adults too, that toxic stress has been shown to shrink the brain, to make it smaller. That gray matter in our hippocampus, which is where we collect our memory, where we actually have our positioning to learn in the hippocampus, that gray matter gets smaller through chronic punishment, through shame, guilt, fear, right? And it's also impacting our prefrontal cortex, that really important part that's going to help us control our impulses and actually regulate our emotion. So there's a lot at stake here, right? When we notice what actually physically, neurologically, biologically happens when we punish. On the other side, safe relationships grow the brain. How beautiful, how life-giving. Consistent connection and co-regulation build neural pathways for empathy, resilience, and healthy emotional regulation. So beautiful. I love this. I love this. I love the part of the science and the brain stuff that gives us so much hope. It gives us so much hope that with safe relationships, we can actually grow back that gray matter, right? So repair then is not just a relational thing of like, okay, let's just keep the peace, let's keep the right relationship going on. It is, and that's huge. And also, repair determines our overall well-being because it's impacting the way that our brains are developing and therefore the way we're able to function. Okay, let me move into this. Development is a spiral, not a ladder. Development is not linear. This is what we've been taught and normalized in our society, that if you don't hit X standard by X date, then you're off track. You have a problem because you didn't meet our arbitrary timeline. That's incorrect. That's not scientific. That's a very colonized way of viewing the human experience. We actually develop through a spiral. So it's a spiral. We're actually moving through, it could be through in one day. We could move through this several times. And especially when you're thinking about children, they're oscillating a lot, right? So moving through dependence, like, oh, I need you. Can you cuddle me? To independence, give me that. This is mine, right? And we're moving through that spiral, moving through regulation. Wow, I feel calm, I feel grounded. And dysregulation, I'm triggered, right? I'm not okay. Knowing and not knowing. And this is the dance of life. This is the dance of development. And it's beautiful. It's how nature works, right? Children don't graduate. They don't graduate from one stage to the other. They're more fluidly, more naturally, more like nature, like water, moving through stages. So our role is not to force or fix or try to get them to mold to a certain way. You need to be like this. Our role is to witness, to support, to be that steady guidance of relationship and connection through it all, to see the dysregulated state and keep your cool, keep your regulation, to model, to hold the regulation for everyone in that room. It's a beautiful thing to be a guide for a child. If you're interested more in guiding learning spirals, there's a free guide that I created that will take you through what is the learning spiral. Here are 3 different ways you can use it. And yes, these work for us too, y'all. Adults need inspired learning experiences too. So this is applicable, and I've seen it applicable like K through elderly age. Okay, we're all human and we all develop in this similar kind of way, and it can be adapted to fit different age groups' needs. Okay, so let's start making this shift, right? We did the exploration. What are we working with here? Let's feel into this shift from the punitive, moving into the restorative. Let's do it. So what's punitive? Just to get a common language here. It is when we are inflicting or intending punishment. Okay, so that's why I've been using punishment and punitive a little bit interchangeably. But punitive is more specifically when you are intending to inflict punishment. You can think of school policies. It's intending to inflict punishment if you miss 5 days of school in a row, right? It's set up in a punitive way, which is why we have the issues we do in education. And you can think about this also in many other different fields and can see these kind of practices in many different fields. So responses that are punitive often include shaming language or tone, threats or ultimatums, a withdrawal of love and connection. I will be so honest, this is totally my go-to punitive response. I turn real icy real quick. I turn real, don't talk to me, and withdraw my love as it's, hey, we all got them, right? But for me, that's the one for me. Physical punishment and consequences meant to hurt, and rigid control. I can also see myself in that one with the rigid control. So it's important that we start to, okay, okay, awareness of these responses and how they show up in us. You can also start to see the difference in this imagery. It helps you to, with the words. Punitive is about controlling, forcing, shaming, blaming. That's how we can start to, in a big general sense, okay, if I'm trying to control, force, shame, or blame, I'm in a punitive response. And that's okay, no blame, okay? No blame for being in that space. Because again, what did we experience growing up, right? Compassion for that. Compassion for that. And we can practice a new way that doesn't add more suffering, a restorative way that ignites that connection that grows our brain, practices repair, sees people with dignity and compassion. Different approaches, big shift that we're making here. So let's dig more into the restorative. Restorative means having the ability to restore health, strength, or a feeling of well-being. So when we are restoring something, it is restoring its health, strength, or feeling of wellness, of wholeness, of connection. We love that. In education, this is a framework that is frequently used. And at the middle of the framework, you see that people are worthy and relational. That's one of the central beliefs that we're holding. Everyone's worthy and we're a relational being. We're interconnected. We're connected with each other and the land. Because of that, we nurture healthy relationships. We seek to create just and equitable learning environments. And we also seek to repair harm and transform conflict. That way we can feel more connected. And throughout all of that, we hold respect for one another, dignity for one another, and mutual concern because we are interconnected, right? So it's a powerful way to just start to let the restorative way and practice sink in a little bit more. How are we doing, y'all? Just checking in. Temp check. How did all that land? So gentleness, love. Gentleness, it's awareness. Ah, wow. And can we be gentle with ourselves as we, continue to unravel? It's so easy to get caught in the loop because it's literally embedded into our nervous system, which means it's embedded into our behavior and our actions and just what we've literally been in the flow of doing. It comes up as almost naturally as breathing, right? Unless we give it that space to rework it, which is a perfect, beautiful segue into our practice, because that's exactly what we're about to do. Let's tap into the power that we have to transmute this stuff that's hard and that's painful. All you'll need is a journal and a pen if you don't have one already. We're going to tap into a practice where we are actually making these shifts, okay? It's going to help embed this into your nervous system, into your body. So let's take a moment to bring to mind a recent conflict. Doesn't need to be big or dramatic. It can if you're willing to go there. Just yourself and what you're ready for. Trust you to just bring up a conflict that you can handle in this moment to work with. If you want to close your eyes, lower your gaze, take that moment to go inward. It's a great time to do that, to just feel into the memory. This moment when connection broke, a moment you wish had gone differently. Hold this memory gently. Remember this memory with compassion. Allow yourself to tap into that space. If you want to write down maybe like the headline or few words of what this conflict is, just to ground it in. Feel free to do that. And while we're in the memory, let's notice the punitive. Let's allow our awareness to shine a flashlight on the punitive. So you can write down now so you can see visually what showed up in that moment. What showed up in your thoughts? What kind of thoughts were you having? What showed up in your body? What physical responses were coming up for you? And then what were the words or actions that came out? No judgment here. We're just noticing. We're going to practice applying now this framework of regulate, reflect, and repair in that moment. Okay? We're going to go back and rewrite that experience for ourselves in this moment for practice. So, regulate is when we return to our own body and nervous system. A lot of times when we're triggered, we immediately want to externalize or blame, or the opposite of that externalization of coming in, shutting down, hiding away. When we return to our own body, we can feel what's happening for us. And with that, we can offer ourselves some sort of regulation, whether that's breath, whether that's movement, sound, feet on the ground, being outside, right? All these things we know. This is going to help our nervous system. Then we take a moment, once we've taken those 3 breaths, we actually can feel our heartbeat again, like, okay, I'm here. I'm here. We reflect. Okay, what am I feeling right now? Like, what is actually happening? Okay, giving ourselves that moment, that space and time to reflect, get curious, and then repair. Make an effort to restore connection. I know repair feels like this confusing thing. It's like kind of like, what? How do we do that? It's kind of big and no one taught us. And how do you practice? Within this work, we're naming repair as when you make an effort to restore connection. That does not mean that the other person receiving you is going to be like, awesome, perfect, let's repair, right? But if you made that effort and you took that step towards a more restorative way versus punitive, that's a win. That's repair. You did it, okay? So let's ground back into your example. See yourself in that situation. Again, if you want to close your eyes, you can. You don't have to. See yourself in that situation and see yourself, feel yourself in this moment too, regulating. Maybe you offering yourself some breath, some kind of movement or like a stretch to just kind of shake energy off. Maybe it's touch. For me, a hand on the heart does wonders. Grounding through the feet, or even just acknowledging what you're feeling sensationally. So taking that moment to repair, see yourself doing this. Feel yourself regulating. In that next moment, feel yourself reflecting with compassionate curiosity. Reflect in whatever way feels natural in that moment. Some questions that can help. What is happening for me? What was happening for me? What might have been happening for them? Or the situation, the context, the experience. And what did I need? What did I need? This one can be the hardest one sometimes to respond to, but just see if something comes up naturally. If not, no worries. I want to write here. This would be a great time. You don't have to. When we take the space to reflect, we're allowing ourselves the gift to choose punitive or restorative. What do I want to do here? Do I want to play out a familiar cycle of suffering? Ugh, I can't help it though. And if you can't help it, you can play it out, but play it out with awareness. That way, next time when you come back to it and you're in this moment of reflection, you can say, okay, I'm ready now to try something restorative, anything restorative. Okay. And finally, now in that example, let's attempt to restore connection. This can be with yourself, connection with yourself. Maybe that's all you need. So some self-repair. That's deep. That's real. And or can be with the other person, place, thing, experience. So repair can look very different depending on what individuals need, who you are, where you are, all the things. But some examples for how to make that ask or shift. You could say, I got overwhelmed and I spoke harshly. I'm sorry. Or can we try that again? Or I'm still learning how to do this differently. Can we repair? Letting that land for you in your example. And now I'm curious, what shifted for you? What shifted in your scenario? What came up? What words or actions feel possible now? Yeah, take your time here. Just think about it, write about it. Finally, let's really ground into what restorative feels like in your body, in your mind, in your words and actions. You can still think of that example that came up for you, or you can think of this more broadly. What is, generally speaking, how would choosing a restorative way of going about something feel in your body, feel in your mind? We're worthy of connection. And isn't it beautiful that's what's at the center of this shift we're making of restorative? It's a complete day and night situation. From I need to prove my worth and be perfect in order to be loved to no, you're worthy. Just because we're relational. The vulnerability. Yeah, y'all, this is like the most vulnerable thing you could do. Admit you're wrong. Admit you want to repair. Oh, the pride you have to swallow to the reason I'm at this point and teach these things is because I've gone through these exact things. And what's coincidental is I had a huge fight with my partner Friday. I was like, okay, universe, just because I'm teaching this repair circle on Sunday, you're gonna give me this test. And it was intense. It's intense, right? So I'm noticing times, and I would love to give us some space to reflect. Just what are you noticing? What surprised you? What shifted? What are you taking away? Or anything else. Doesn't have to fall under these questions. It can just be thoughts that you're having. I just think back to the waters we're swimming in and the lineages that have been swimming in this. Who has actually known better? It's scary, but like who? And until you do know better, that's when the cycle can break. That's when change can actually happen. That's when you can offer some grace. Wow. Like, what a powerful human we are, to even think this way and practice like this. We're the ones to break the cycle for future generations. I'm so grateful. We don't have to continue. We don't have to continue the pain. We can choose a different way. And it requires practice. It requires vulnerability and being honest with ourselves, but it's worth it. It's worth it for ourselves, first of all, for us to have more healthy, connected, alive, fulfilling experience, and every single person we come in contact with, every single person you come in contact with will feel this part about you, the restorativeness in you, that you're not seeking to blame or punish or shame someone for being different, but that you're okay with different, you're okay with conflict. There's a lot that goes into restorative practices, but just high level. Sometimes learning about these topics and tapping into them, it feels a little bit like I don't even want to say it like this, but like common sense? Or like it's like, oh yeah, well like right, we should just not harm each other. When it clicks, you're like, well yeah, no, we shouldn't be adding pain. But it's not it's not common sense. It's not what we experienced or practiced as someone in the field of restorative justice. It's still so new. It's still so on the fringes and not even a mainstream topic yet. The fact that you are drawn to this, everyone here and who signed up, that is giving you information about being a leader for these kind of ways of being in your context, in your way. And it's a offering that I hope ripples. I see how this applies to this very real practical thing, and I'm gonna implement it in that way. And it can also be really small. It can be so small, right? Even if you're in a activating situation and you just do the regulate, you just do the breath, and you take care of your body and your mind and that is a win. That is a win. So I'm offering this as a take-home practice for you and for your loved ones. You can absolutely share this is the same process we kind of went through, but I name more specifically here the choice part. So the next time connection breaks, you regulate, right? Hand on heart, 3 deep breaths. We reflect, I'm feeling blank, and then choose. Take that moment, ask yourself, do I want to be punitive or do I want to be restorative? Girl, I did the punitive last time. Let me try the restorative this time. And then speak your repair, right? Even if it's imperfect, I want to repair this. And that's you showing up for you and the connection. If the person cannot meet you there, that is okay. There can be time, there can be space. We don't have to force people to meet us where we're at. Thank you for being here today. In closing, I want to offer we are learning together to put down what we were taught and pick up what we remember. We're learning together to put down what we were taught and experience what we experienced and pick up what is a remembrance in our bodies. Love does not require control. Children are teachers, and repair is possible, especially with ourselves and with other people. Thank you so much for being here today. If you are in a space too, I would love to receive some feedback. Stay in contact too. Thank you guys for being here today. So much love, so much love. Until next time, take good care, my friends. Big hugs. We need a hugging session next time. Yeah, self hugs. We did that work, right? Oh, so good. Take care. Bye.